So today we will start the first unit, which is our food toxicology. Okay, so in this unit we will discuss certain aspect of the toxicology. The whole syllabus of the food toxicology is to understand the basic concept of the food safety, and we will start the food toxicology in the manner so that we can understand what is the basic concept which is required to fulfill the certain parameter of the good manufacturing practices and good hygiene practices in food processing industry. So this is our elective course and we will discuss this course topic wise. So we will start the first unit. So in the first unit, as you can see, the food toxicology is the first topic. So how the food toxicology start in our food system or food chain. So we will try to look into that. But before that, we have to understand how this is going to be happen. What is the exact phenomena through which it is going to be happen. So we will have a look on it. First of all, it is going to be start with the food intake. Okay, so the food intake, whenever the human is going to consume the food, it should be safe, hygienic, and qualitatively and quantitatively should be nutritious. Second stage is health risk. Whenever the person or an individual is going to take the food, the second aspect which is associated with it is the health risk. So health risk can be divided further into two parts. First is your microbiological risk. Second is your toxicological risk. In the microbiological risk, we have to understand what exactly the toxicological, what exactly the infection and what exactly the infection. So we have to understand both the things at the same time in the microbiological risk. So microbiological risk you have already covered in your second year or in the syllabus already, which is related with the microbiological aspect. So infection is the particular phenomena where a zoonotic microorganism, maybe a virus, is going to transfer from one person to another person. Intoxication is generally happen whenever a person is going to take the adverse food and it is going to cause any problem in your guts. Second is a toxicological risk. So we will discuss in this particular curriculum the toxicological risk. So what is toxicological risk? We will try to understand in this particular course. So let's try to understand. Food is a fundamental importance of the life and it is required for human, animals, aquatic animals, territorial animals. So food is a particular thing which is not only giving the life and energy, but also it is providing them immune system which is helping to cater the diseases for the human and animals. Now, how it is going to be happen? So as you can see in the slide, it is a mixture of the chemicals which contains nutrients around 99%. It also consists the toxin and contaminations. So toxin includes your mycotoxin, aflatoxin. So these are the toxin which is from the microorganism. Let's say the example of your Clostridium botulinum. Clostridium botulinum is a particular kind of organism which is generally found in the tin, or you can say the cantin. For example, if we are not able to retort the cantin, then it is a possibility that the Clostridium botulinum is there and it will spread the toxin compound. Second aspect of the contaminants. Contaminants can be further divided into three kinds. First is your physical hazard, biological hazard, and chemical hazard. So these things both are harmful for the consumption of any food item. Now further it is a food additives which you have already studied, I think. So I will not go into that detail. Now we will further study what are the toxin and the contaminants. So what are natural toxin? So natural toxin can be divided into two parts. First is your endogenous toxin of the plant origin, and second is the natural contaminants. So natural contaminants can be further divided into the edible plant and toxin. So let's take the example of the edible plant and toxin. Edible plants and toxin is from the particular plant or herb. Take the example of the aflatoxin. Aflatoxin and mycotoxin generally occurred from the plants, for example, groundnut. If they are not going to be separated, the soil is not going to be separated, or if it is going to be grow at the crop level or at the harvesting level, it means that particular peanut or particular butter which is going to be prepared from those plant is going to cause the aflatoxin. Second is the toxic substance by the animals. So by the animals there are so many toxin compounds. Similarly, microbial toxins are there like Clostridium botulinum, that is a bacteria, and these are all comes under the natural contaminants. Now, what is the definition? So, definition of the contaminant said those substances which include unintentionally in the food. So, they are not intentionally. So, I have taken the example of the physical, chemical, and the biological hazard. So, physical contaminants can be your sand, dust, particles, iron particles, which will be coming into your food item unintentionally. Similarly, the chemical contaminants include your pesticide, residues, food additives. So all those things are unintentionally added into your food. Some are harmless and others are hazardous. So first we have to understand what are the harmless and what are the hazardous ones. Hazardous ones are of three types which I have already taught: physical, chemical and biological. So whenever the consumer is going to intake any kind of unintentional substance, that is called as your contaminants, and it will cause adverse health effect to the human. Now try to look into the definition. These are the certain other definitions which is elaborated into the raw material stage, processing stage and the packaging stage. Because once the raw material reached to the industry or the farm, it has to be passed through the certain steps, certain processing steps. So how it is going to be happen? It will start from farm to fork. So whenever the material is going to be consumed at home level or at the consumer level, the chain already starts from farm. Farm means it is going to be start at the harvesting level. And finally fork means at your consuming level. So these are the three class. First is your raw material. It includes your pollutants, pesticide, toxin, chemicals and heavy metals. Second is your during the processing. So processing is very important parameter being a food technologist. For example, if meat processing area is there, then in meat processing area they have to separate the tissues, fat and unwanted materials. So cleaning agents are required, manual cleaning might be there, automations cleanings are also there, and during the packaging. So plastic coating toxin tins. So these are the possibilities through which the toxin can become during the processing stage. So at the raw material time, it would be your pollutant which will be coming from your environment. It includes your pesticide, toxin and heavy metals. We will take into this detail what are the heavy metals. Now contaminants. So contaminants are particularly be related with the heavy metals. So these include your heavy metals, nitrates, dioxin, mycotoxin, pesticide residue, packaging material and biotoxins. So these are the things which are included as in contaminants. So in the heavy metals, you can find a series above on the slide. It includes your arsenic, cadmium, copper, mercury and lead. So these are particularly five metals which are harmful and have more chances to come into the food, or you can say have more chances to come into picture of the food at the farm level or from the environment level. Now dioxin, nitrates, mycotoxin we will discuss in the further slides. Now before that, first you have to understand what are the kind of contaminants. So I told you they might be your biological one, chemical one and the physical one. In the biological one, they might be bacteria, mold, fungus, parasites and viruses. And in the chemical, I already taught it can be your accidental contaminations throughout your food chain. And physical one includes your accidental, like your objects, sand, dust, all those things. So moving to the next slide, we will see what are the kinds of the contaminants. So these are the few kinds of the contaminants which have more chances to come into your food. Like allergies have 22% chance. Antibiotics, microbial 18%. So you have to remember those which are having the highest percentage, particularly with your allergens, antibiotic drug residue and your color additives. So these have the more chances according to the FDA to come into your food as an contaminants. Now chemical contaminants, these are basically more affected. First is your plastic debris. It can be further, you can say methyl mercury, which is one of the harmful compound and it proved in the Japan also. DDT comes from your fertilizers. Now it is prohibited and banned. Then PAH, polyaromatic hydrogens are there. Then styrene is there. So recently you have heard the case of Andhra Pradesh where the styrene gas has been released and it becomes one of the disaster in our country. So these are the chemicals which coming from the harmful chemical coming from your industrial side. It also include lead, copper. Now what are the units which are there to measure these compounds, to measure these toxins? First is your ppm, which is called as part per million. Second is your part per trillion, part per billion. So ppm and ppb is generally used and ppt is also be used. So what is, do you understand by part per million? So these are the few examples which you can quote, as million means 10 raised to power 6. So these are the certain parameters from which you can understand what is actually the potential of a million, part per million. So I have given example, if 22,575 kilometer is there, out of which 250 centimeter is your 1 part billion or 1 ppm. Similarly, your 1 minute frame in 2 years, 1 cent in $10,000, 31 gram of the salt and 31 ton of the potato chips, 1 bad apple in 2000 barrel of the apple. So from all these examples, you have understand that its unit is very, very small. And we are measuring it in a very, very small or acute measurement. Now 1 part per billion. So let's try to understand part per billion. It is the same like 250 centimeter in 25,750 kilometer. Second is your 1 second in the frame of 32 years. Third example is 1 cent in 10 raised to power $7. Similarly, 1 pinch of the salt in 10 tons of the potato and 1 bed of the apple in this much of the bare apples. Now one PPT is there, so you can understand from all these examples as similarly above given. Now what is the poison? Now we have to understand what exactly the poison is and how can we measure the poison. So there are certain parameters through which we can measure how much the poison must be there to affect a particular animal or human. So it is defined in the terms of your LD50. So what is LD50? LD50 is minimum amount of the concentration, or 50 if 100 gram, like if let's say 50 milligram of the substance is there and it will affecting the 50% of the population. Let's say there are 100 people, out of those 100 people, if some dose is there and that will kill these 50% or 50 people out of the 100, that means that concentration is called as LD50 concentration, and it would be measured in the milligram per kg. So as the LD50 is reduced, it means it is more prone or more potential toxic. So we will try to understand in further slide what is GRAS. So GRAS is a term which is generally used in the food additive. Whenever there is a body which is known as codex. In the codex there is one body which is known as your expertise bodies. In those expertise bodies, they used to know whether which food additive can be added into the food material so that it can be recognized as safe. So generally recognized safe are the food additive which is approval by the FDA and it is qualified by the experts and adequately it is safe. For example, salt, for example, sugar, honey, DHA, TBHQ. So all these things comes under the GRAS compound. And there is a graph or dose response graph from which we can analyze a particular compound comes under the definition of the GRAS or not. Now let's see the metals. First is the heavy metal is your mercury. So I already told mercury is very harmful and it is particularly derived from the industry, agriculture. An increased level of the mercury in the food, particularly with the aqua animal, fish products are there which are going to be affected, and methyl mercury accumulates extensively in the fish. So when these fish are going to be consumed by the human, there is a problem with the central nervous system of the human being. Okay. So the primary target of the mercury is our central nervous system. So first, whenever the person is going to consume this mercury from this aqua animal like fish, it will affect our central nervous system. So some cases are there. This is the case in the Iraq where the poisoning was found during the ingestion of the wheat treated fungicidal based mercury on mercury. Okay. So what happens like there was some fungicidal which was based on the mercury and it was taken by the pupil, or when it is ingested it caused the pupil death. So daily intake of the mercury as per the US and Western Europe is like estimated 1 to 20 microgram. So it is very less, and TWI is your 300 microgram, which is also very less. So what are the sources of the metals? There are sources like natural sources, volcanoes. Generally what happens when the magma comes out from the volcano, it disperses, and magma consists of your heavy metals including your mercury, iron and other metals like lead, zinc. So many metals are there which include into your magma, and when it comes or floated on the surface, after cooling down of the magma, they convert into the solid compound. It includes your gold production, mining, battery production, disposal of the certain products. So product containing the mercury are like battery, medical product and thermometer. So as you have seen in your home, like battery is one of the source of the heavy metal, thermometer is also the source of mercury, and some medical products are there. So this is one of the disease, Mini-Mata disease. So Mini-Mata disease is a neurological disease or syndrome by serving the mercury poisoning. So this is one of the disastrous case in our environment. It happens in Japan due to the consumption of the mercury from the fishes. So it was named as a Mini-Mata disease. This is one of the place in the Japan, and the disease caused the neurological syndrome. Now what are the heavy metals? So I already told it includes your numbers on feet and muscles weakness and hearing, speech and paralysis, coma and death. So whenever a person is going to consume the heavy metal, it causes so many problems. First, it includes your numbness, muscles weakness, vision problem. Maybe a person is not able to look at properly, damage to hearing, might be he is not able to hear the properly, speech problem is there. Sometimes coma and death is also found in the case of the contaminants like heavy metals. Now what are the present use? It is used in the medicine, amalgam film, vaccine preservatives, fluorescent lamp which you have seen in your home generally, gold mining, NaOH production. So these are few of the examples where the heavy metals are utilized. Now, this is one of the example which is given for the tuna fish. Tuna is one of the fish which is consumed across the world. Now, but the tuna becomes endangered species. But still, the tuna has been consumed at very large level, particularly in the Japan or those countries which are dependent on the sea product. So, this is one of the survey which we have done. What should be the amount of the mercury should be there so that it can be said as a safe product for the human. So let's try to understand this chart. So what they have given certain amount of the dose per week, and like they have found the 5 ounce amount as the tuna which can be taken, and above that becomes the harmful on per week per body weight of the individual. So this is the end of the slide, but before that I will go for a revision so that if some problem is there then we can revise it. So let's try to finish it again properly. In the first slide I have told about the food toxicology. What is food toxicology? I have also taught like what are the health risks which can be coming into the picture. In the microbial risk, this is further bifurcated into the infection and the intoxication. And the toxicological risk is going to be studied in 2 parts. First is your toxin, second is your contaminants. There are certain other mixtures which is found in our food. It includes your nutrients, it includes your food additives, and it also includes your toxin and the contaminant. But most of the time, it consists of your nutrients. Now the natural toxin is further divided into the 2 parts. First is your endogenous toxin plant, second is your natural contaminants plant. So in the natural contaminants plants, edible plants plus toxin are combination, toxicological substance by the animal, and microbial toxin and mycotoxin. So these are the certain compounds which comes under the natural toxin. Now this is the definition. This definition includes your unintentionally added in the food. Means any contaminants, any substance which is added in our food unintentionally is called as your contaminants. So I already told these are of 3 types, generally physical, chemical and biological. Sometimes they may be harmful and they may be hazardous also. So these are having the 3 kinds of your system or stages. First is your raw material, second is your during the processing, and third is your during the packaging and the storage. So at the raw material stage, it includes your environmental pollutants like pesticide, toxin. During the processing, it includes your filtering, cleaning agent and industrial plant, and it might be your manual, it might be your automated industry also. During packaging, it can be your coating, toxin, tins or plastic. Whatever the material is utilized for the packaging, it can be come into the picture as a toxin also. Now the contaminants, the heavy metals is particularly divided into 5 kinds, particularly dealing with the food industry. First is your arsenic, second is your cadmium, third is your copper, then mercury and lead. So we have also discussed the case of the mercury, which is Minamata disease, which happened due to the contaminations of the aquatic fish in the Japan. Now, kind of the contaminants, those are of 3 kinds: biological, chemical and physical. Biological include your bacteria, mold and fungus and parasite. Chemical include your contaminants or the chemicals which is in the part of your product chain. Physical include your all the soil dust or your metals. So these are the certain contaminants which are provided into the list. It includes your antibiotic drug residue, it includes your color additives, it includes your improper GMP, it includes your quality or the microbiological. So we have to remember the highest one. So like microbiological hazard is the 18 to 19%, and microbial hazards include your contaminants includes your like your mycotoxin, aflatoxin, Clostridium botulinum. Color additives are there, for example, azo colors are there, dyes are there. So these can also be come into the pictures. Now next is your antibiotic drug residue. These are becoming the problem, and they are becoming problem because of the eutrophication in our environment, okay, or the magnification in our environment. Allergies are one of the concern, and it contribute around 22 to 23%. So these are the some of the diagrams of those contaminants, particularly the chemical contaminants. So you can see these structure also like DDT, which is one of the fertilizer, methyl mercury. You can see the diagram here also. Styrene is there, and PAHs are there also there. So these are the 3 units which I taught you, like ppm, ppb and ppt. So ppm, I have given the few examples so that you can understand, because this ppm terms we are generally going to be used so many times. So that's why I have given the term mentioned in the ppt. And ppb is also there and ppt is also there. Now what is the poison? So for understanding the poison, we need one unit. So that unit we have taken here, the LD50. So LD50 means the minimum amount of the concentration, or the 50%, when the 50% of the population is going to be affected. So out of 100 people, if 50 people is going to be die, then that concentration is known as LD50. So from that we can understand the potential of a particular poison. Now grass compound. Grass compound is generally utilized for our food additive, and it is one of the category where we can say these are the additives which are safe for the consumption, and it is recognized by the FDA. Now heavy metals, one of the disease from the mercury I have taught you is the Minamata, and it is given the what is the TWI and what is it's going to be approved by the US and the Western European, like 1 to 20 grams. So this is the amount which is decided by them, and the TWI which is also decided by them. Now in the heavy metals, we have also looked into the sources like volcanoes, cement production, battery production, disposal of the certain items, and this was the example which I have taken for the neurological problem or disorder. So what are the symptoms which are going to be happen during the consumption of these metals? So numbness is there, muscle weakness is there, hearing problem is there, speech problem is there. So these are all comes under the symptoms of the heavy metals when we are going to consume in our food. So this is one of the example which I have taken for the mercury, how the tuna is consumed by people, or how number of the doses has going to be affected.
If you were looking for the perfect place to live in the 1950s, you couldn't do much better than Minamata in southern Japan. It's surrounded by mountains right next to the ocean, and there are hot springs just up the road. It was basically a paradise. Plus, if you were looking for work and fishing wasn't your thing, there was a giant chemical manufacturing plant, the Shiso Corporation. So you had employment, idyllic scenery, and endless amounts of seafood. Minamata was perfect. Except for the cats. One day, locals started noticing the cats were acting weird, and it turns out, in the least shocking plot twist ever, that the chemical manufacturing company was responsible. About 30 years earlier, the Shiso Corporation had started making a chemical called acetaldehyde, a super important precursor to things like acetic acid and some plastics. The most efficient way of making acetaldehyde at the time used a particular catalyst, a thing to kickstart the reactions. And unfortunately for the unsuspecting residents of Minamata, the Shiso Corporation decided to use mercury and then dump the leftovers from the reaction into the bay. We've known for a long time that mercury is one of the nastier elements on the periodic table, which is why we don't use it so much anymore, although you can still find it in old thermometers or batteries. Eating plain mercury doesn't actually cause too many problems. Like, it's not great, so don't just do it, but your gut doesn't absorb too much of the metal. The Shiso Corporation wasn't dumping elemental mercury, though. It wasn't pure metallic mercury. Heavy metals, which are elements that are mostly in the middle section of the periodic table, can lose electrons to form positively charged ions. When mercury does this, it forms what chemists call inorganic mercury, and it's the ions with a positive charge of 1 or 2 that really cause problems. Hat makers in the 1800s, for example, used a compound called mercuric nitrate to make felt for their hats. Workers would spend hours every day inhaling mercury fumes, and the effects were not super awesome. Most would have severe personality changes, hallucinations, and uncontrollable shaking. In fact, that is where the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland came from. And the Shiso Corporation in Minamata was dumping similarly toxic kinds of mercury into the water. But the cats weren't just inhaling fumes. It was worse than that, so much worse than that. And all because of a bunch of anaerobic bacteria living in the Minamata Bay. Instead of using oxygen as their main source of energy, anaerobic bacteria use sulfur. And they're not too picky about the quality of the water they're living in or the ions that might be floating around in it. When the bacteria came into contact with the extra inorganic mercury at Minamata, they transformed it into the most poisonous form of the metal, methylmercury, which is a carbon attached to a mercury with a single positive charge. Inorganic and organic compounds don't tend to want to mix. They're sort of like oil and water. So when the original mercury ions were floating around all by themselves, the plants on the floor of the bay basically ignored them. But the methylmercury produced by the bacteria was bioavailable, meaning that the plants were able to absorb it. And methylmercury is especially poisonous for humans and other animals because, unlike elemental mercury, it is almost entirely absorbed in the gut. Here's where it gets bad. Once methylmercury is in, it doesn't leave, and these mercury-laced plants were being eaten by fish. The more the fish ate, the more methylmercury they accumulated in their cells, so the larger they grew, the more deadly they became. And of course, the biggest source of food for the cats of Minamata was fish. In the early 1950s, locals started seeing what looked like the cats dancing, which sounds kind of funny, but was actually horrible. They would jerk around uncontrollably, making terrifying noises, and then they would die. Around 1956, the human residents of Minamata started experiencing the same symptoms. They started flooding hospitals with numbness in their hands and feet, high fever, uncontrollable flailing, and loss of sight and hearing. A lot of them ended up losing consciousness and dying. Doctors and researchers launched an investigation into what they started calling Minamata disease, and by 1959, they had found the cause: methylmercury poisoning from fish. But they couldn't figure out why it was causing severe birth defects. There's a membrane called the placental barrier that's supposed to stop really terrible things like mercury from getting through to the fetus. We now know that methylmercury gets through by disguising itself as a super important component of proteins, the essential amino acid methionine. When it gets inside the body, methylmercury binds to a different amino acid called cysteine, and to your cells, the cysteine-methylmercury combo looks pretty much exactly like methionine. The thing about methionine is that it's really easily absorbed across the almost impenetrable placental barrier, as well as the similar barrier that's supposed to protect the brain. By 1962, researchers had proved that the chemical processes used by the Shiso factory could cause the methylmercury poisoning. But it wasn't until 1968, 12 years after the first victims died, that the Shiso Corporation stopped dumping the factory's wastewater into the bay. The government started cleaning up the bay in 1977, and by 1997, the water was considered safe. But it'll be a long time before people start thinking of Minamata as a perfect paradise again. Thanks for watching this episode of SciShow. For more on some of the worst environmental disasters ever, you can check out our video on 7 of the most toxic sites in the US.